Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while, and this time what I want to talk to you guys about is the struggle of transitioning your child into daycare, preschool, or school in general, like kinder if they've never been before. My toddler just turned 3 years old. His birthday is December 27th, so he just turned 3 years old. We enrolled him in a little preschool. We were literally just waiting for him to turn 3 for him to begin. He was not very fond of the idea. My kids have been with me since they were born. I was fortunate enough to be able to work from home when COVID hit. So both of them have been with me. I was working from home and taking care of them. For this reason, they had never been away. This was all brand new to my son. He did not enjoy the idea of going away for hours and then coming back. It doesn't matter how we tried to sell him on the idea. He just did not like it. So I started the enrollment process probably in October. I started talking to him about school. Absolutely not. He was not having any of it. Then come like December 2nd, that's when the that's when the plan of him actually starting school actually started coming together, since he was getting closer to the right age. And I just knew that I just had to get him on board, or at least closer to being on board, before he actually turned 3. So I want to say the beginning of December is when I really started working on selling this idea to him. At first, we just started talking about school. One of the things that we did was focus on the positives of school and the people that he knows that go to school. So he has a lot of cousins that are around his age. We have like an age range of 1 to around 10-ish, I want to say. And obviously he's 3. So there's a cluster of cousins that are between 3 and 5 right now. So we would constantly just say, oh, so-and-so is starting school. So-and-so is going to school. So-and-so loves school because of this. That's kind of like the first step to get him to be fond of the idea, because he likes these people and these people are going and these people are fine. So of course, it's not like he actually loved the idea after that. It's not like he even actually liked the idea after that. He was still adamant that no, he was not going to go. But that was kind of step number 1. And then just constantly talking about school. Oh, look, the school bus. Things like that. Driving by a school. Oh, look, a school. You're going to be going to school kind of like that one, but yours is going to be different. Then the next step was, he's very fond of Blippi and Mika. So I was like, okay, I need to find a better way of selling this, because we're really getting closer to that date. So I looked up Blippi School, and lo and behold, there's an episode of Blippi in a classroom. So I played him that episode. I was like, look, Blippi went to school. Blippi goes to school. This is what your school is going to look like. Something similar to this. Do you see the kids? They're going to be similar in age. You're going to be able to play with the kids. You're going to be able to do activities similar to the ones that they are doing. That's what kind of like catapulted the idea of him maybe wanting to go to school. It's the one that finally like did something. So I continued working on that. I continued pushing on that. I would show him that Blippi episode every few days. It's not a very long one, but it kind of showcases what school is like, kids in school, the fun that they have. So when we would talk about school, I would focus on that. Oh, remember when Blippi went to school? And then he would start saying things like, oh, do you think Blippi's gonna go to my school? And I'd say things like, oh, maybe, but we won't find out if you don't go. Do you think Mika's gonna go too? Maybe, but we won't find out if you don't go. So I focused on that a lot. So basically what I want to say, maybe the next step for you guys could be, if you are in a situation similar to this one, is focus on what they like. Do they like Bluey? Do they like, I don't know, there's so many cartoons out there. If your child likes a specific character, maybe find one that kind of focuses on that or a similar concept to that, okay? Because even to this day, it's January 16th today, and he's in school now. It's his second week. We still talk about that because he's still struggling with the transition. So focus on that. The next step was driving by the school. So there was a day where we were going to, there's a school in a park right next to the school that he's going to. So one day we had nice weather in Oregon in December. I decided to walk to the park with them, and we just walked around the park. And I was like, oh my gosh, your school's right there. Do you want to go see it from the outside? And he was like, oh, sure. So we walked around, not the perimeter because there's no access to all of it, but like the front of it and then the back of it in the parking area. And I was like, oh, this is where you would enter from. Oh, look, here's the little playground area. And he was like, oh, he kind of was curious about it. Then we went back and started walking around the park again. Something else you could try. The next step was when we went to sign papers. 1 or 2 days before that, I was like, oh, we're gonna go to your school. And no, he's not going to school. He's not going to school. And I was like, you're not going to stay there. We're just going to sign papers and you can take a look. And that idea, he liked that idea because he knew he wasn't going to stay there. He knew mom was going to be there with him and his little sister was going to go. So we get there, we sign papers. He's so comfortable. He's really liking it. The lady that was helping us throughout the process, she was like, oh, do you want to go see your classroom? That day, I guess the teachers were all out sick, so there was no school for the students in that class. So we took him into the classroom. He started seeing things he liked. He started trying to touch things. So we went back to the other room. He played a little more, and then we left. That kind of warmed him up to the idea even more. And I want to say like actual steps that we took to warm him up to the idea. That was probably the last hard step. And then we were just at this point just waiting for winter break and for him to actually start. During winter break, we just kept talking to him about going to school. He'd be very hot and cold. Oh yeah, sure. Or absolutely not. Then you just kind of have to get stern and be like, you're just going to have to go. But we delivered it as compassionately and softly as we could, which I assume everybody does, and I would hope everybody does. The first day was very hard. The days leading up to it, he was fine with it because it wasn't going to happen that day. But the day of was very, very hard. There were a lot of tears. And you guys, I'm going to be very honest. I'm so fortunate that, number one, my husband works from home. So he has his own business, so he creates his own schedule. And he's been a very active participant in this transition. I have to give him so much credit because although this process is painful for him as well, he's definitely a lot more logical than emotional. I'm very emotional. I'm obviously logical, but like my emotions totally got the best of me. So from the very beginning, we agreed that he was the one that was going to take him to school. So he's the one that was going to deal with all of the tears and soothe him as much as possible, but ultimately be the one to leave him there, because I knew that if I was the one to do that, I would probably end up crying there with him, obviously not helping the situation at all. And you don't want that for your kid. You need to feed them confidence. So he's the one that took him that first day. He's the one that's been taking him every single day since then. And to be fair, I mean, I can't just reap the benefits of all of his work because I wanted to be the one to pick him up when we initially agreed on this, but he was like, no, if I'm going to do the hard work, I might as well be the one to pick him up too. And you shouldn't get to to just do all of the fun stuff. And I was like, okay, fine. I've picked him up once only. He's the one that's taken him every day. He's the one that's picked him up every day. We had a setback because last week, so his first day was on a Monday, and Wednesday evening, he started expressing stomach discomfort. Turned out he had a stomach bug. We all caught the stomach bug. So he did not go to school from on Thursday, Friday, or this Monday. But it wasn't bad because his schedule is it's a very long schedule. He goes from Monday to Friday from 8:30 in the morning to 2:30 in the morning or afternoon. So I know that a lot of preschools are shorter hours or shorter days, or maybe there's a lot with long hours too. I don't know. But I feel like this was a very hard transition for my son. So I kind of appreciate that he was able to stay home those days to kind of soften the blow. At this point, he cried a lot this morning, fighting the idea of going to school, but then on the actual drive to school, he was fine. And when they got to school, he was fine. So it's starting to set in. He's definitely making progress. I don't know how long it's going to actually take him to get comfortable with this new routine, but it's been very hard. We've done our best to try and help him through it. Even for the adults, it's honestly, there's such a change. The noise in the house has gone down. The mess in the house has gone down. I have more time, even though I still have my 1.5-year-old. It's been a weird transition, but I know he needs it. I know it's for the best, but it's been hard for everybody. I hope that you guys were able to pick up on some pointers for your toddler, and I hope that this is an easier transition for your kid. I know that a lot of kids don't cry. I have a niece that didn't cry at all, but then a month into it, she decided she wasn't going to go anymore, and that's when the troubles began. All kids are different, but I really hope that these tips helped you and that you guys get through it as quickly and as painlessly as possible, and that your child just thrives and flourishes in school. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you on the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you. Bye, you guys.